Good morning, everyone. My name is Luke Kennedy, and I'm here and ready to learn. Coming up in English, we'll be talking about how to give reasons for your opinions and how to explain yourself clearly. In maths, we'll solve some fraction problems, and in science, we'll explore how animals grow as we talk about their life cycles. So sit back, make yourselves comfortable, get your thinking caps on, and let's get ready to learn. Do you find it easy to explain yourself to others? Next up, Pascal is going to give you some tips for how to make sure you give convincing reasons for your opinions and how to draw on evidence to support your explanations.
Hello. Are you good at explaining yourself to people? Today we're going to look at what it means to explain ourselves and how to do it well. Notice how often in class, when you answer questions, you can't just state the simple answer. You'll often find the instruction to explain your answer added onto the end of questions. And that requires a bit more thinking and communicating. Well, I'm going to give you a few tips today to make explaining your answer a bit more straightforward. And this will work not only in your English class, but in loads of other subjects too. Explaining yourself can be useful for a few reasons. It can help to show your understanding to your teacher, or it can clarify why you think or believe something. An explanation deals with giving reasons for your answers or justifying your opinions. Okay, let's quickly go over opinions again. An opinion expresses thoughts, beliefs, or feelings about something, from saying how you feel about eating particular foods, to sharing thoughts about a new computer game, to expressing what you believe about a serious issue. We give our opinions all the time, and we can explain our opinions to others so they understand why we think the way we do. And that's right. People will have their own opinions, and they're allowed to disagree or agree with ours. Here are a few examples of how you might be asked to give your opinion in English. You might be asked your opinion about a book. You might have an opinion about the plot, or a favourite character, or the way the book was written. Perhaps you need to review a film. You might give an opinion about the plot or characters, or you might have an opinion about how the film was made, how well the actors played the characters, or even the music, camera work, costumes, or stunts. Or you might be asked your opinion about an issue that affects society. To give our opinions, we will need to use evaluative language. Evaluative language is positive or negative language that can be used to help us express how good or bad we think something is. Using a positive or negative adjective to describe something is one example of using evaluative language. Remember, adjectives describe a noun, and they really should be a bit better than good or bad too. There are much better words we can use to paint a picture about our opinion. Here are a few positive adjectives you could apply to a book or movie. Engaging, enchanting, well-written, entertaining, or original. And here are some less positive ones: clunky, predictable, boring, or tedious. Now, it's no use just relying on evaluative language to give your opinion. You want to be able to explain it, remember, and for that we'll need reasons. It's important to give reasons to support your point of view. One of the easiest ways to do this is to use the word because to link your statement and your reason together. Have a look at this sentence. My father is a good cook. Well, first of all, remember we can do better than good for an adjective. Let's try, my father is an excellent cook. This is a simple sentence. Let's look at another sentence. It's a complex sentence. And remember, complex sentences have more than one clause, and they can give reasons why a point of view should be believed. The word because can be used to link the opinion and the reason together. My father is an excellent cook because his mother taught him special recipes. Did you notice that the first clause, my father is an excellent cook, is a complete thought? We know it can stand alone as a sentence in its own right. We call that an independent clause. However, the next clause, because his mother taught him special recipes, is not a complete thought. It actually needs the first clause to go with it in order to make sense. This is a dependent clause, and it gives a reason to support the opinion in the first clause. Are there other ways to write this answer? Yes, and we can experiment with it. Let's have a look. If we start our sentence with our reason, we could start our sentence with because. Because my father's mother taught him special recipes, he is an excellent cook. See how the comma goes after the dependent clause? What about other linking words instead, or swapping our clauses from dependent to independent? We can try that. My father learned special recipes from his mother, so he is an excellent cook. Truly, the possibilities are endless. Now here's another tip. When you are asked to respond to a question and to explain your answer, you can use evidence to make your answer more convincing. Make sure you know exactly what the question is asking you, and then select evidence that supports your point of view. Here's the kind of question about analysing a cereal package that some of you might be familiar with. Do the language features and visual elements on the cereal packaging have a persuasive effect? Explain your answer. Okay, that's a lot. Let's make a basic judgment. And you might have seen our episode recently where we looked at this package in more detail. But first, is the package persuasive? My opinion is yes, it's good. No, not good. Let's make it effective. So now I need some evidence about the language features and visual elements to support my answer. For language features, I can see it uses rhyme, dawn breaks fibre flakes, and alliteration, fibre flakes, repetition throughout the packaging, facts like 100% natural, low in salt, high in fibre, and commands such as be quick and help save the planet. And overall, that makes it quite persuasive. In terms of visual elements, the techniques used are the bright colours, the way the images are put together, and the very cute character Dawn. Now, this is my last tip. I want to use technical language in my answer because it's going to make me sound like I really know what I'm talking about. So instead of saying the way the images are put together, I might say image placement. See how that sounds way better. Okay, so I want to take my answer that yes, I think the packaging is persuasive and I want to include a reason. And I'm going to include evidence and technical language in my response to be more convincing. So here we go. I think the Dawn Breaks Fibre Flakes packaging is very persuasive because it uses language features such as alliteration, rhyme, and repetition to get the product stuck in our head. It also manipulates visual elements like bright colours, image placement, and the likeable cartoon character to appeal to buyers. So we are likely to pick this cereal over others. Do I have my answer? Yes. Do I have reasons? Yes. Do I provide evidence and technical language? Yes. So this is a pretty good explanation. So to sum up, if you want to explain yourself clearly and convincingly, make your point clear, explain with reasons, and use evidence, including technical language, to support your reasons. You can have a go at explaining yourself to someone else in your home. Think of a show you're watching or a book you're reading and decide whether you would recommend it to them or not. Tell them your opinions about it, and remember to back it up with some convincing reasons. Well, that's it for today. See you next time.
Hi everyone, let's talk mathematics. 3/4, 4/5, 5/8, which is bigger? Next time your friend offers you a portion of something delicious, you definitely want to know which piece is bigger. Here's Linda to help us out.
Are you ready for a maths warm-up? I'm going to give you a few seconds to identify the largest fraction on a number line. It sounds easy, but stay on your toes. Ready? Let's go. Which fraction is greater? I'll count from 5 before I reveal the answer. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The first fraction is 1/2 and the second fraction is 1/3. So the first fraction is greater. Let's try another one. Which fraction is greater? You ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The first fraction is 3/4 and the second fraction is 1/4. So the first fraction is greater. Let's try a third one. Which fraction's greater? Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The first fraction is 1/4 and the second fraction is 1/2. So the second fraction is greater. There's one more to go and it's pretty tricky. So I'll count back from 7 this time. Ready? Which fraction is greater? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The first fraction is 2/6 and the second fraction is 5/6. So the second fraction is greater. Did you get those right? Now that we've warmed up, here's a problem to solve. Joe ate 1 1/3 chocolates. He didn't get those bits. His friend ate 2 chocolate bars. How many chocolate bars were eaten altogether? We can solve this problem by drawing a diagram or a number line to answer our question. Here's a diagram of the problem. So we can see on my number line here that Joe ate 1 1/3 chocolates and his friend ate 2. So altogether, 3 1/3 chocolate bars were eaten. This number line demonstrates this problem. If you look closely at it, you can see. We'll start at 1 1/3, we'll add on one more whole, which takes us to 3/3. We'll add on another whole, which is the same as adding 2, and we end up at 3 1/3. We don't have to do both a diagram and a number line when we solve problems. Just choose the method you find easiest. Let's try another one. Kylie spent 1/3 of an hour on homework each night on Monday and Tuesday, and she spent 1/6 of an hour on homework each night on Wednesday and Thursday. How long did she spend doing her homework? I know that thirds and sixths are related fractions, so I'm going to draw a number line that shows both thirds and sixths. Here's one I did before. Each hour has been split into 3 parts using dark lines to show the thirds, and each of the thirds have been split into 2 parts using lighter lines to show sixths. My number line here shows each hour split into both thirds and sixths. So now I can use this to count along 1/3 of an hour for Monday and Tuesday. There's Monday, there's Tuesday, and 1/6 of an hour for both Wednesday and Thursday. Here's Wednesday and Thursday. So Kylie ended up doing 1 hour of homework. Remember, we use diagrams and number lines in maths to help us get the answer. They're such an important skill to practice. Let's try one more. There's 5 sandwiches. Aidan, Tony and David are going to share the sandwiches equally. So how many sandwiches will each boy get? I could draw another number line to help me get my answer, but I think I'd like to draw a diagram to practice. I've done one earlier. These represent the 5 sandwiches that will be shared by Aidan, Tony and David. Can you see them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see that Aidan, Tony and David will each get 1 whole sandwich, but I have to share the remaining 2 sandwiches between the 3 boys. So I'm going to split each sandwich into thirds so that each boy gets an equal piece, like this diagram. Now I can see that each boy will get 1 and 2/3 sandwiches. Okay, here's our last problem. Aidan's auntie Kirsten was on holidays in April. She spent 1/6 of the month in each city, Sydney, the Gold Coast and Brisbane. How many days was she on holiday? So this question's got a bit more thinking to do. Firstly, I'd need to draw a diagram to represent the whole month of April, and then I need to split it into sixths. Now I can show where her holidays were. I can see that she was on holiday for 3/6 of the month. Let's have a look here. You'll be able to see it. So I've split April into sixths, and we know that Auntie was on holiday in Sydney for 1/6, Gold Coast for 1/6, and Brisbane for the 3/6. So she was on holidays for 3/6 of the month. That's half the month. Isn't she lucky? But the problem asked how many days was she on holiday? I know that April has 30 days, so I'm going to split the whole month into 30 parts. That's what these dotted lines do here. Now I can see that she was on holiday for 15 days. Phew, that was a tough one. Well, that's all from me today. Don't forget though that drawing diagrams or number lines helps us get to the answer. So why don't you draw one next time you're stuck on a problem? That's all from me. I'll see you next time.
How cool is solving fraction problems in maths? I wonder what Linda will have for us next time. Now it's time to meet Jaden in our My Place segment, which is celebrating kids from across the state of Queensland. Here he is.
Hi, my name is Jaden Smith and I'm a Camilla Roy boy from St. George. I live on Mudajali country in Bow Desert. I go to Gleegle State School and I'm in grade 5. My favourite subject is maths because I'll use it in the future for my dream job to be a brain surgeon. And I love being Indigenous because I'm in the longest and oldest culture in the world.
Time to get our science on, and it's fascinating subject matter this morning as we explore the key stages of development in living things. To talk us through it, here's Jen.
In Australia, we have a rich biodiversity. We are home to a unique range of native wildlife or animals, such as our kangaroos, koalas, emus and echidnas, as well as our diverse plant life. It is important to understand the lives of living things so that we can protect our wildlife. Remember, for things to be classified as living, they must be able to grow and reproduce or make offspring. So today, we are going to explore how animals grow by looking at their life cycles. Now, you may be able to hear some chirping coming from the side. We will come back to this later on. Take a moment to think about how you have grown up since you were born. We were all once a baby, a toddler, and a young child. And we know that we will grow into teenagers, young adults, and then adults. These are all key stages during the development of humans. Each type of animal also goes through key stages of development. While each type of animal is unique, they may share key stages like the egg stage, young stage, and adult stage. For example, insects, reptiles, fish, and birds have an egg stage in their development. Also, all types of animals have a larvae or young stage. And finally, all types of animals have an adult stage in their life cycle. Some animals are amazing and they can have up to 6 different stages in their life cycles. There are 2 main parts to a life cycle: when an animal grows bigger and when the animal reproduces or makes offspring. Some life cycles are as short as a few days, while others take many years. For example, mayflies, which are related to dragonflies, complete their whole life cycle in less than 24 hours, while some types of whales can live for over 200 years. When scientists talk about the life cycles of animals, they are talking about repeating patterns. So even though an animal may die at the end of their life cycle, the pattern continues. For this reason, life cycles are usually presented in a circular format to show that the cycles continue as new offspring are produced and grow. The change from one stage to another in a life cycle occurs naturally. Let's take a look at the life cycle of a chicken as an example. You may have seen a chicken on a farm or at a fair, or perhaps you may even have one in your backyard for fresh eggs. I am really excited to show you what I brought in today. These are baby chickens from my own backyard. And this one is Georgie. Georgie is about 10 days old, and Georgie's going to help me out today. A chicken like Georgie will live for about 3 to 5 years, and during this time, a chicken will go through 3 key stages in its life cycle: an egg stage, a young or juvenile stage, and an adult stage. This image shows the life cycle of a chicken. Notice how each stage is connected by an arrow. The arrow points in the direction of animal growth or the next stage of development. Here we can see that young chickens are hatched from eggs. These juvenile chickens grow and mature into an adult. Once a female chicken has become an adult, it can lay eggs to hatch new chicks, and the pattern of the life cycle continues. Each stage of development in a life cycle can take a different amount of time. For example, it took Georgie here about 21 days to hatch from an egg, and it will probably take her another 6 months for her to mature into an adult chicken. Some features of Georgie will change, but like her feathers, but really, she will look the same. She will just grow bigger. Thank you so much, Georgie. We'll put her back there. However, some animals may go through big changes in their life cycles where they look completely different. This occurs in animals including insects and amphibians. For example, tadpoles transform into frogs and caterpillars transform into butterflies. The scientific word for this transformation is metamorphosis. Let's take a closer look at metamorphosis in the life cycle of a butterfly. Butterflies follow 4 stages of development in their life. Here we can see that the larva hatches from butterfly eggs. The larva is the caterpillar stage of the life cycle. It takes about 4 days for the eggs to hatch, and the caterpillar then spends the next 2 weeks eating leaves to grow. Once the larva has reached full size, it will find a place on the stem or leaf of a plant to attach to using silk. At this stage, the larva is now called a pupa, as it is housed inside a cocoon called a chrysalis. The chrysalis protects the insect while its structure changes. You may have seen one of these in a tree or a bush in your own backyard. For the next 10 days inside the chrysalis, the pupa rapidly transforms through metamorphosis into a butterfly. The adult butterfly then emerges from the chrysalis and flies away to feed on flowers. The adult butterfly can live for about 2 to 6 weeks, and during this time, the female can lay eggs so that new larvae or caterpillars can hatch and can continue the cycle. Now that we have explored the life cycle of animals, I wonder what the life cycle of a plant is like. Maybe you could look at that another time. Okay, let's recap what we've learnt today. We now know that all living things have a life cycle and share similar stages of development. Life cycles vary in length from hours to days to years, and some animals go through a transformation that we call metamorphosis. Now it's your turn. This afternoon, why don't you start exploring life cycles at your home? You could observe the life cycle of a plant by planting a tomato seed, or you might like to go hunting for a chrysalis, caterpillar, or butterfly and sketch their features. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Well, I think we've been sitting quietly and concentrating for long enough, don't you? So it's time for you all to move your bodies and take a brain break. I'm finished my lessons for the day and Victoria is coming up next. So bye for now. Enjoy your stretches.
Hi, I'm Sky Nicholson and I'm a boxer. I'm at home just like you guys, and keeping active is so important for our health and well-being. So let's get active. Our first exercise we're going to do today is the shuffle. So we want to get into a nice half squat, and we're just going to practice shuffling from side to side, just like this. Practice now with me. All right, the next exercise we're going to do is practicing a chest pass. We want to place the ball right in front of our chest like this, and we're going to step through and push. And then we're going to do it with the other foot. Step through and push. Step through and push. And our third exercise for today is the pivot, one we love in boxing. Basically, you want to keep one foot planted, and we're just going to practice moving around in a circular motion, keeping that foot planted to the ground, just like this. And once you've got the hang of that, you can change directions. Great brain break, guys. Now let's get to learning.